Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Today, we're going to talk all about overcoming obstacles, so I hope you are ready for it. Day 7, I hope that you're starting to feel a little swag, feeling a little more badass, more confidence, all the things. Because you know what? You are a badass. So I think if you weren't feeling it before or you weren't feeling it when you started, you should start to feel it now as every day progresses. Feel it more and more. Really embrace the badass within you. Okay, I'll get off my high horse. I'm just super passionate about this and excited just to have you recognize your badassery. With that, let's just go ahead and jump right into the episode. And you know what? Give yourself grace. Just free flow as you're writing down journal prompts. You can grab the companion journal, ordinarytobadass.com/12, and just whatever comes to mind, write it down. Let's get to it.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today is day 7 of the 12 days of badassery, and I couldn't be more excited. We are going to talk all about overcoming obstacles today. And I'm going to be honest, I wanted to get more specific on this one. Overcoming obstacles generally refers to facing and conquering challenges, difficulties, or barriers that impede our progress or success. And the scope of overcoming obstacles can vary in size and significance, and it can be minor setbacks or it can be significant challenges. Now, let's talk intensity of overcoming obstacles. They may involve addressing specific hurdles or roadblocks in various aspects in life, whether it's work, relationships, any of the things, or personal goals. Just to be aware of different ways that you've overcome obstacles in your life. That's what we want to focus on. That's what we want to narrow in on. So, anytime that you've had a barrier, something that has kind of stopped you from success, but you were able to move past it, that's what we're looking at. Write those down. Okay, now some specific questions for you to reflect on. Recall a specific obstacle that you faced. How did you navigate through it? What strengths did you discover within yourself through the process? That's important because sometimes through these obstacles, we learn stuff about ourselves. We might not learn it in the moment because it's hard, right? We're busy grinding or trying to get through it, trying to figure it out. But then after, you can be like, oh, yeah, I learned that about myself from that obstacle. Think about a time when an obstacle seemed insurmountable. Did you use certain strategies or mindset shifts to overcome it? You might want to write those down so that you know for the next time when you have a similar type obstacle or you're going through an obstacle and you're like, oh, can I use what I used before? That could be helpful. What have you learned about your resilience from the obstacles that you faced? Now, I want you to consider a recent challenge that you encountered. How did you approach it? What positive outcomes or what personal growth came from it? Reflect on a situation where you initially felt overwhelmed. What actions did you take to overcome that overwhelm, to overcome that obstacle? How did it change your perspective or your character? Even some of these seemingly small situations can have a huge effect on our character. Like one time I had an obstacle of somebody that I worked with. He didn't work for my employer, but he was a company we were contracted through and paying him for services. And he was a jerk. Every single time I talked to him, he was a jerk. And he would always, it felt like he was talking down. And I didn't like it. It wasn't just to me, it was to everybody. And we were paying him, or our company was. So it was like, what the heck? And so then I finally said something because every single time I asked him a question, he's like, that was talked about in blah, blah, blah training. We explained this in X, Y, and Z training, and it was just so annoying. So I was like, "Dear Michael, in the future, please do not respond to me that way. If I'm asking you a question, it's because I do not know the answer. So I'd appreciate you to just respond with the answer. Otherwise, it comes across as condescending. Now, that was one email, one day. But you know what? It gave me confidence. It was like, "Oh, yeah, I can speak up for myself. I don't have to let people talk to me like that." And I had talked to, like, 2 coworkers about it before I hit send, and they're like, "Are you sure? What if they show the supervisors?" And I'm like, "I asked somebody not to talk down to me? How could you get me in trouble for asking somebody not to talk down to me? For not to be condescending to me?" So that is like an example of something that was teeny tiny, and yet it gave me huge confidence. So look for those little times where you spoke up, where you said something, you overcame a challenge. That situation could have continued to be a challenge if I had kept my mouth shut. And then never again after that point was it. So that worked, right? So reflect on those times of your own where you've had some like they're almost like micro moments. Like they feel like nothing or they feel so small, but yet they have a huge impact. They're the challenges you face day in and day out, and yet you choose to say something, you choose to speak up, you choose to do something differently. Reflect on a time or a situation where you initially felt overwhelmed. What actions did you take to overcome that situation? Have you ever had something where fear of failure held you back? And then one day you took on that challenge? One day you like punched fear in its face and you said, "I'm not tolerating this anymore. I am going to keep going, keep pushing on." Reflect on that. Reflect on what you learned about yourself, on how that moment changed you, what it felt like after you pushed past the fear. For any of these obstacles that we talked about, go back and look through them and look at the specific steps that you took to overcome them. Look at the strengths, look at the insights that you gained from those moments. And then how can you apply those to future situations? How can you make that part of your process when you're facing obstacles? Stuff that helped us in the past is likely to help us in the future. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to try something completely new. We look at our past to help us shape our future or push forward in our future or give us more understanding in the future what works for us and what doesn't. Okay, make sure you download your companion guide, ordinarytobadass.com/12. And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in their arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.